I am speaking about national security. Hold on, please. My brother, this is a national security issue.
Yes.
There is a war on. You want to pretend there's no war. There's a war
pretending.
on.
I'm only saying there are
a lot of you journalists are part of the problem. You don't want to address the truth. There's a war on. Why are you saying you're not pretending? There's a war on. People are being killed everywhere. You're saying there's no war. What do you mean you're not pretending? You are. You are part of the problem in this country. Allow us to speak the truth so that people will know what's going on. There's a war on. People in the Benue cannot go to farm. People in Plateau cannot stay in their houses. People in Taraba can't. Everywhere there's a war, and you're telling me that we should keep quiet? No, there's a problem. So those who are responsible for the war simply want to turn Nigeria into a settler colonial entity.
Hey, my people, I beg, no be only me go watch this video. Please, I beg you, you need to watch this video. You need to watch this video, because waiting this man, Dr. Cash, waiting he use the mouth to talk, you see, one of the problems we are having in this country is our media houses. Oh yes, those people, I think they are also contributing to the problems we are having in this country, because they will see where something is going wrong. They will not broadcast it. They will not talk about it. They will see that somebody is not doing well. They will not talk. They will not tell that person. They will not talk. They will see somebody that is doing well or see somebody that is doing what is right. They wouldn't talk. Instead, they would like to downplay, to say it the way their masters will like it. To say it so that they wouldn't probably be banned, or, they will just find a way to say it so that it will suit them. It will suit those that employ them or those that are the owners of those media houses. Honestly speaking, this is a very big issue. Well, please, you see, as I see this video, I say, I must bring it, make my people see them. Because this man open mouth. Look at all the killings that is happening in Nigeria. Look at everywhere is just turning upside down. Go to our media houses. What you see there, what they are talking about now is 2027 election. Peter Obi say, Atiku say, Erufai say, this now the election that they talk. Forgetting about the people that is dying or the people that are dying. 2027, nobody people go vote them. So they want make Fulani and all this insecurity we have, make the pie everybody finish before 2027. Anyway, make I not waste your time too much. I beg. Please, I beg you. Watch this video, watch this interview this man did. Because watching this man talk, I'm not sure say any person or only few people feel talking for Nigeria. Please watch it. Then you drop your comment on the comment section. If not your first time where they come for my channel be this, I beg. Do well to subscribe, because on this channel I get you information of everything that is happening. As we see them, as so we talk them. Please watch.
Well, but then will you blame the APC really for what is happening? Because the PDP house, it's almost non-existent right now. The national secretary problem has been there with them for for some time. The SDP is just, having some people coming to it, and many persons believe those strong characters that are coming, the SDP might not be able to, sustain it. Now, people are blaming Bola Ahmed Tinubu, being the one that he has planted moles in their party, destroying their party. Will you blame Tinubu or an APC on that Tinubu? For welcoming all these individuals that are crossing. Now, when you have 3 senators of a party jump the line and go join the APC, 3 senators from a state, the PDP move is entire structure in Delta. You have said some of the reasons that are, possibly are the cause of this, but then some are pointing accusing fingers at Mr. Tinubu, that's President Tinubu, to say he is the one running Nigeria to a one-party state. But will you blame him, really?
No. If the opposition puts their house in order, we won't have people run away.
The opposition are blaming him that is the one causing problem in their party.
Because they don't understand. If they had put their house in order, that people won't be running away. Because they've not put their house in order, they were dilly-dallying, they were prevaricating, and they allowed the issue of zoning to destroy the opposition PDP. We are now seeing it. And you see, instead of understanding their mistake and correcting it. No. Atiku, Tambuwal, and the likes of them are doubling down that it must be them, it must be them. How could that be? How could, in a society like Nigeria with over 400 different ethnicities, one ethnicity, the Fulani, want to rule with Buhari and rule again with Atiku? That will make people say no, they won't accept it, and instead of accepting it, they will go to the other place. For me, I've told you before, most people in southern Nigeria and the middle belt of the north will rather, for the sake of security, not trust a Fulani man for president. And that's what you're seeing. So if they think Atiku is a shining star in the PDP, they will abandon it because the PDP for them is a ship that will never sail. And that's the issue.
If I may butt in, sorry.
If they not change their ways.
Sorry, sir. Are you now saying, with the benefit of hindsight, maybe a Nyesom Wike that has been, battered, accused, and, abused by people, maybe for the benefit of hindsight, he and his, integrity brothers, the 5 of them at that time, are you saying, when you look at it now, maybe he's right when he said he wasn't going to support Atiku at the last election and would rather work against him and support Tinubu? Do you see it that way?
Yes, it is wrong to have allowed Atiku to succeed Buhari. It will be one Fulani after the other. And as you see, the Fulanis killing people across the country. Why? They want to
I want us to be careful of the use of words. When you generalize.
Allow me to use my words, please.
Yeah, I'm saying this is a national
television. You might be very careful.
And there are good people in
I am speaking about national security. Hold on, please. My brother, this is a national security issue.
Yes.
There is a war on. You want to pretend there's no war. That's a war on.
I'm only saying there are
a lot of you journalists are part of the problem. You don't want to address the truth. There's a war on. Why are you saying you're not pretending? There's a war on. People are being killed everywhere. You're saying there's no war. What do you mean you're not pretending? You are. You are part of the problem in this country. Allow us to speak the truth so that people will know what's going on. There's a war on. People in the Benue cannot go to farm. People in Plateau cannot stay in their houses. People in Taraba can't. Everywhere there's a war. And you're telling me that we should keep quiet? No, there's a problem. So those who are responsible for the war simply want to turn Nigeria into a settler colonial entity. And that's what's going on. You don't see that. You're seeing the politics. Forget about the politics. There is a real problem in the country. People are not sleeping at night. People, even in daytime, our farmers cannot go to farms. We now have food security problems. Why? The Fulani war across West Africa has finally bettered in Nigeria. And you don't want me to talk about it. Why? Who are you afraid of? Who will hear it and we will die? This is the problem. The country has gone wrong. Because a lot of you keep quiet. I'm aware of this. So please, when we have a problem like this serious national security issue, we must speak to it and not pretend it doesn't exist. It does exist.
All right. Doctor.
It does exist.
All right, Dr. Ononuju. You have given your reasons for the massive defections to the APC. But my concern is this, and a lot of Nigerians have raised these concerns. Now that a lot of people are moving to the APC, like you rightly said, that most people in the South and the Middle Belt would rather vote a Tinubu than vote someone for the Fulani extraction. The question is this: can APC really contain all these, defections into their party? People have raised concerns that there might be an implosion in the APC. Do you see that way?
There's nothing wrong with implosion. Implosions are historically normal in human situations. When you put too many things inside one container, they could implode when that container can no more bear them. So when you put inside APC, people from different ideological backgrounds, implosion becomes inevitable. There's nothing wrong with it. What you will ask yourself is, after the implosion, where do we go to? Are you afraid of implosion? No, don't be afraid of implosion. In most societies, without an implosion, nobody knocks the gong and calls people to come and talk and find out solutions to the crisis that have undermined the community. Nigeria currently is at a crossroad. There is a war on, an asymmetrical war, and the government seems very weak about it. People are panicking and people are running, thinking that Tinubu can help. And that's the problem. If other politicians cannot, well, there's nothing wrong for the sake of security thinking that Tinubu will be different from either Atiku or Buhari. I see nothing different in Atiku and Buhari. They're the same 10 and 10 pence. So Tinubu is the only one that's different from them. If you're telling me now, and I'll talk about security situation, that's the problem. The country is in dire straits, and the security architecture looks like it has been Afghanistan. It is right now ineffective, and that's why you're hearing people talk about state police and protocols that will allow the people to be able to protect themselves. We are moving towards that. If the government cannot help, people will resort to self-help. My brother, the security situation is serious and it is real. And this is the problem. We're not talking about it. We're pretentiously talking about it on the political front. There are underplays that are driving this problem in.
Yeah,
and for me, I will advise anybody, go to Tinubu instead of another Fulani politician.
All right. You know, we have spoken to you before on this program, especially on security. You are somebody known for your brutal opinion, which you know has endeared many persons, and maybe will make you not to have too many friends because you always say it the way you see it, and that's a good thing. And you know, we're talking about political parties, but we are rounding off. But since you mentioned security, let me just, as we crossed home on that, there have been in fact, there is no more pocket series of attacks. The Daily Trust, I mean, yeah, yesterday, if you could lay your hands on it, have a report, and I'm sure possibly you don't need the Daily Trust to tell you what we are in right now. I'm asking you this, not just as a political analyst, but as a Nigerian, somebody that has a keen interest in politics. We have been having overrunning of army bases. Even yesterday, an army base was still overrun. Nigerian soldiers are killed right now. And then, you know, I was just discussing with my colleague before you came up to say, what is that audacity that these individuals, these criminals, what do they have? What gives them that confidence that they can give a go at an army base and they are succeeding? Even when some of them are affected and killed and neutralized, they still had it done yesterday. We don't know where is next. What is that audacity that they have? Many persons said, okay, we now have a southerner, somebody who is a big personality that will not pan to any consideration. I'm talking about Tinubu, that he will do what is right. But now we're having overrunning of army bases. Many persons are saying the Minister of Defense should go. But for me, primarily, what is fueling this audacity of these criminals to give a go at an army base, and they have been doing it repeatedly? What do you think is the problem?
One, the military are not united. Two, because of under the Buhari administration, there was a large-scale Afghanization of the Nigerian security services. And when I mean Afghanization, you understand what it is. It's the penetration by political interests into the security services to actually plant soldiers who will do things in line with their own security intentions. And if they want to take over the country, of course, the easiest way is to put their militias into our army, or rather to have our army give up weapons and give up bases easy to their militias. And that's what's going on. So people are actually, yes, that's why you're seeing some people try to run to Tinubu. But sometimes they might also stop running to Tinubu and start organizing for themselves. I foresee people resorting to self-help. You see the army base. Ask yourself, I've spent it on this program before. Tinubu might have taken over power, but is he in charge security-wise all over the country? I don't think so. there are a lot of infiltrations perpetrated during the Buhari period that Tinubu has not yet been able to undo. You now see a lot of those taken into security services, people who are said to be the radicalized element from Boko Haram. It is those radicalized elements that are now showing the Boko Haram and all these Islamist fronts, militias, what to do in the country. At the end of the Civil War, Nigeria was 70% Christian, 30% Muslim. But the Muslims have been fighting to try to turn everything upside down. So, and their Muslim politicians are also doing the same thing. So, I tell you, there is an Afghanization of Nigerian security services underway. And that's what I can tell you. I don't believe in all those things that have been done. If it is here, people agitating for peacefully, agitating for different standards, you will see the army come to the east and start arresting people, start arresting Sunday Igboho. How come the army are not strong up north? Don't forget, these same security strategies were employed to undermine President Goodluck Jonathan. And now that the same set of people are not happy with President Tinubu, they are now employing the same strategy to suddenly undermine President Tinubu. That's why I'm telling you that what you're having now is an Afghanization of the security services. So that has been known for a very long time, and I have been very strong on this. Speaking about security, when most people were very afraid to even allow me speak, what happened today is all over the place. What I've been saying for the past 12 years, is it not all over the place? And these were products of hard research findings. I traveled to Mali, I went to Burkina Faso, I went to Cote d'Ivoire, I went to Ghana, I traveled to Yemen, the homeland of the Fulani, and I found out these problems. I presented it to Nigerians and I told them there is a war on to take land from Nigerians, take the land, take over the land, administer over the land, colonize the people who own the land. And that's what I tell you, it is the new version of settler colonialism taking place in Nigeria. Right. Even helped by Buhari administration. Buhari told people to come into the country with guns. How could you let people come through your border with guns? Those people with guns are now using those guns to colonize and arrest and kidnap Nigeria. All right, Dr.
We are short on time right now. Coming back to the political landscape in Nigeria, if it boils down to North versus South, do you see anybody from the South, another strong figure rising from the South to defeat President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in the 2027 elections? Like you said, most people in the South rather go with South. But don't you see someone else in the South actually rising up to take power in 2027?
It is not a North versus the South. It is the Fulani versus the rest of us. Understand that. Don't make North. Because in the North, TV are being killed in Benue. The Birams are being killed in Jos. The Jukuns are being killed. The Burkums are being killed. The Kajes are being killed. The Kachaf are being killed. The Adar are being killed in Kaduna. So in northern Nigeria, people are being killed more. Houses are being killed in places like Basari, in Sapana, in Dusima, in Musa, in Kankara, in Angobe, in Densedau, even in Bungudu, houses are being killed. And that's why you're seeing the Hausa militia, Yansakai, now rising up to also fight against the Fulani. You hear every day Bello Turuji, the Fulani militia leader, talking about killing houses. Why? They want the land of the houses. Now, if you're going to do settler colonialism in a time like this, what they might be doing is looking at the Australian and the American standard, where the natives were all killed to take over their land. But our law doesn't allow such. So why hasn't the government done a thing to stop this wanton killing of Nigerians simply for the sake of taking over their land. This is the problem, and that's why most people think that the government is complicit simply because it's been very, very quiet and ineffective in trying to react to these security challenges. So for me, it's not an issue of North versus South. No, it is the Fulani versus the rest of the country. The earlier you understand it, the better. Don't be, they just deceive you, calling themselves North. No, the people being killed are Northerners. People being killed in Kaduna, people being killed in Kaseda are Northerners, Hausas. People being killed in Sokoto are Northerners. People being killed in Zampara are Northerners. People being killed in Benue are Northerners. People being killed
Dr.
in
Taraba
are Northerners. So it's not an issue of North. There's a war on between the Fulani and the rest of us.
I'm not sure there is any tribe that is spared. Even the Fulanis in Borno, in Yobe, they are being killed as well. Isn't this?
No. There are no Fulanis in Borno. What you have in Borno is the Karikari, the Marigi, and then the Kanuris. So, not that. There's a Fulani war across West Africa, and that Fulani war has bettered in Nigeria. Don't deceive yourself.
So,
don't call it North.
All
right, yes, are not killing Nigerians. It's a Fulani.
Do you see any southern candidate, giving President Tinubu a run for his money in 2027?
Of course, the last election, Peter Obi gave President Tinubu a run for his money. But of course, you saw what happened. INEC was employed to cancel results, and acrobatically Tinubu emerged. So what I'm trying to tell you is the country is right now under state capture. And until we allow for free and fair election, we'll never know the truth about what happens at the elections. Let us do electoral reforms. Let us have free and fair elections.
All right.
In the wake of this war, the Fulani war across West Africa that has not bettered in Nigeria, all was organized to save their place and their people from the killing machine that is the Fulani militias.
All right.
And that's what I'm telling you. It's not the North killing us. It's the Fulani killing us. Get that proper.
Let Nigeria not think that by suppressing the Igbo, that they are going forward. Foul. So long as Nigeria suppresses the Igbo, Nigeria will go nowhere. Because ndị Igbo na-atụ iluru na-asị onye ji mmadụ n'ala ji onwe ya n'ala. Ụlọ mmanụ olu mere Igbo ofu mana Igbo mere onwe fa nnụ. Igbos are people who obey laws. Igbos are not new in Lagos. Why is it that it is just now they don't know they have to get approval for land? They don't know they have to register land. Igbos have had properties in Surulere, in Yaba, in Ikeja, in Apapa, in Victoria, and Iko. Why is it? It's just now. The truth is that it is not good to continue to blame them. The only thing is, if they have heirs, if government has rights, government, in my own opinion, have got right anytime to take over any property for an overriding public interest. But government must pay compensation.
We must do the right things all the time. When we are born, our parents did the right thing all the time. No matter the status we think we have achieved, can we please make sure that we leave anything that's unholy and do the right thing.
The conferment of
I want to thank you for giving Nigerians Ufai Oseni.
we are a very distinct group. In fact, the politics and the navigation of Igbos in Nigerian politics, if you ask me, I'll tell you it's predictable. They don't live their own. So what that means is that for anybody to wave off the Igbos and say, we can do it, that it's not a good politics. So for a good mix, I'm a politician, I'm a practical politician, I'm a strategic politician, major step. Give this people.
All right, so you have seen it. What do you think? Please do well to drop your comment on the comment section, I beg. I'll see you in my next video. Thank you very much, and God bless you.